Welcome to the study session where we are breaking down the BCBA 6th edition test content outline. Today we are breaking down Task A.3, which requires us to explain behavior from the perspective of radical behaviorism.
This is where we get into the heavy-hitting philosophy of our science. Even though Domain A only accounts for about 5% of the exam, roughly 8 questions, Task A.3 is the one that really tests whether you've fully adopted the behavioral worldview or if you're still slipping back into mentalism when things get complicated.
That's a great point. To understand this task, you have to start with the man himself, B.F. Skinner. He pioneered radical behaviorism, and the word radical here doesn't mean extreme in the 90s sense, it means thorough. Skinner insisted that the focus of study is all behavior in psychology, including private events, which are things like thoughts, feelings, and imagery.
This was a massive shift. Before Skinner, methodological behaviorists basically ignored anything they couldn't see from the outside. But a radical behaviorist says, hey, if a person is thinking, that thinking is an action. It's behavior.
Exactly. In this view, private events, while not directly observable, are subject to the same behavioral principles as public events. They don't happen in some magical, non-physical dimension, they are influenced by environmental variables just like walking or talking.
But, and this is a huge but for the 175 scored questions on the exam, we do not use private events in ABA because we cannot observe and measure them. As scientists, we need to be objective. If I can't put your inner feelings on a line graph with a high degree of inter-observer agreement, I can't use them as a basis for a formal intervention.
Right. We focus on the relationships between observable stimuli and responses. Radical behaviorism views behaviors as natural events that occur as a result of other events in the environment. It's very cause and effect. The benefits and consequences of a behavior either increase or decrease the probability of that behavior occurring in the future.
It's basically an engine powered by reinforcement. But where students really get tripped up on the exam is when they encounter mentalisms. Mentalism is the opposite of radical behaviorism. It relies on hypothetical constructs, which are unobserved processes that are said to be present inside the person.
They are often called explanatory fictions. This is when you use a fictional variable to explain behavior. A classic example from the sources is saying, he was tired today, so he could not complete his work.
I hear that one in clinics all the time. But think about it. Tiredness is an unobserved state. By saying he didn't work because he was tired, you've stopped looking for the environmental variables, like the difficulty of the task or the lack of reinforcement, that you can actually change.
And that leads us to the ultimate mentalism trap, circular reasoning. This is faulty logic where the effect is the cause, and the cause is the effect.
The source gives the perfect exam-style example. He misbehaves because of autism. He has autism, so he misbehaves.
It's a total loop. You aren't explaining the behavior, you're just naming it and then using the name to explain why it happened. It gives the illusion of an explanation without actually identifying any observable, measurable variables.
If you're stuck on a test question and an answer choice suggests that a child's low self-esteem or inner frustration is the cause of a behavior, alarm bells should go off. That's mentalism. A radical behaviorist would instead look at the history of reinforcement or the current motivating operations in the room.
Exactly. We keep our eyes on the environment and our hands off the explanatory fictions. If you can do that, you're thinking like a scientist.
For more practice spotting these mentalistic traps and mastering Domain A, head over to www.bcbamockexam.com.
Catch you next time.
Bye.